cornerstone laid is a wondrous and beautiful thing, firm in the ground, while the north wind is taking its toll. You have helped me to find my way back and to anchor my soul, safe in the sound. I know that we can see this through. I'm bragged on, bury my bones, said if we heard the howling, I'd run out to face it alone, to meet it halfway. I've still got badges to earn, so keep sifting my soul, 'cause I think that I'm starting to learn to love you that way. Oh, you know me. Oh, and I know you. And I know that we can see this through. It's true that you could snap my neck. I trust you'll save my life instead, 'cause our love's a loyalty sworn, so keep hold to our hope, and I know we can weather this storm, whatever they say, come what may. Oh, you know me. Oh, and I know you. And I know that we can save us through. Hello, everybody. How is everyone? Too much trauma in the vacuum community. There's too much drama in every community. Drama's just... people realize drama, if you don't pay attention to the drama and you ignore the drama, it goes away. Drama only festers whenever there's attention to it. If you don't give the drama the attention, then the drama isn't drama. It's just shitty gossip that nobody cares about. Or it's just someone being a douche and just getting appropriately called out for it. I used to deal with the drama. I used to deal with a lot of drama. Just don't. There's too much shit going on in the real world to give a shit about what some dipshit on the internet thinks of you. Rick Hoover, or get rid of the people who like to start it every time. Yeah, it's true. Valid. Or at the very least, don't let them back in until they've shown that they've actually changed and shown evidence of such. Hoover got a brush vac. How long have you been playing the guitar for? Not long enough, because I sound like shit. My guitar might be slightly flat as well. But yeah, Rick Hoover got a brush vac, so that's funny. Or fun, not funny, that's fun. No, I said funny. I guess it's funny. It can be funny, in a good way. TR, hey man, I'm live right now and I have an empty spot for another creator. Would you like to join since I went through hell earlier? It would make my day. What happened? I guess you don't have to tell me if that's personal, but I understand. Maybe another time, I don't know. Chant wants to see a collab with a legendary Chance. I don't know if I'd call myself legendary. I'm just a dumbass. Vac attack. Oh, this is perfect. This is a perfect response. If you're dealing with drama on the internet, you can simply just log off and ignore the internet trolls. Exactly. Rick Hoover, you are legendary though? Am I? I mean, really? I mean, I appreciate it. I don't really consider myself a legend, but okay. I mean, I guess I can't argue with that. I guess if multiple people feel like I am, then I guess it's not really my decision at that point, is it? Right? Because that's usually how that works. Marco, you're the GOAT, bro. Well, I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. TR, major drama led to separation of what I thought were friends. I've had that happen before. Yeah. I'm just so used to losing all the friends that I have that if friends actually stick around, then I'm just like, oh, these are good people. Because I just don't put in the effort anymore, to tell you the truth. If I, try to be friendly with someone and I try to be friends with somebody and they don't put out the effort, then I just don't care. I just move on. I'm at the point in my life where I just don't care. And obviously I'm old enough. I've been through this long enough that it just doesn't faze me anymore. I know my worth. I know what what I provide to the table, so to speak, or what I put on the table, so to speak, as a friend. And if people don't like that, that's totally fine. It is what it is. I don't mind that. I've had a lot of not that I was ever not ever, but not that I've been immature for a while, but I've had a lot of personal growth over the last few months, and I've seen a lot of improvement. And just kind of how much easier it is for me to not take things so personally. How much easier it is for me to brush things off.
you know. So it's really nice. There's a lot of freedom to really not having to worry about things like that. Yeah, because I'm established enough that people know who I am, you know, and what my intentions are and everything as far as whatever, and that's totally fine. I mean, the bar's so low in this damn hobby to just not be a piece of shit. So I pass all those bars with flying colors. So at that point, I'm no better or worse than anybody else for the most part. The chat is listening to the stream through the background. They want this to happen. I don't have your info though, so I'm not sure how we'd even do that. Because that's something you'd have to set up and everything ahead of time. Because the last time I did something like this with Carl, it ended up sounding like shit. Um, which sucked because I absolutely loved that conversation I had with Carl, but like the entire time, his audio was, I think it was his audio was like really quiet, and I didn't figure that out until afterwards, and it's like you can't even hear him, and I feel really bad because like that was a really nice conversation. I'd love to chat with him again sometime. I'm trying to get Alex on, especially since we just did the collab and we're still trying to talk and figure out what to do with the footage, which that's why nothing's been posted yet. Was we're still going through the process. But the there's obviously a lot of stuff that's going to come down the pike. It's just a matter of when, not if, because obviously it's all filmed and everything. It's just a matter of getting that. Because Alex is a busy man, so I don't want to pressure him or anything, or because I mean it's fine. Because I'm pretty sure I even visited whenever it was kind of a busy time for him, so I don't want to rush him. I did steal some business cards though, just to prove that I went. It's cute. Yeah. Adorable rounded business cards, so nice. Yeah, I was about to say, oh, maybe I shouldn't show these, but I'm like, well, then again, it's a business, so obviously the address is everywhere. That's so cool. Really, yeah. It's better the problematic friends separated with you than to stick around with them. Oh, I agree. Especially because in like both of those instances where it was someone who I thought was potentially a friend, they kind of did it themselves. Like it wasn't anything that I did. It was just them trying to pull one over on me, and I just simply didn't take it. I literally just said no, I'd rather not, and it just and it's like okay, but because I'm just like no, I'm not fucking stupid. Like yeah. Like I've said this before, how dumb do you have to be to try to screw me over? Because I disagree with the idea that I'm legendary, but I'm at least big enough that you don't really want to fuck with me, especially over something stupid. Because people will know about it, and your reputation will go into the shitter. Because I've at least built up a positive enough reputation with everyone that I've talked to that, from what I understand at least, and I hope I'm right about that. I hope I'm not wrong about this, but most of the people that I tend to deal with tend to believe me. Like they tend to think that I'm being truthful and that I'm being honest and that my integrity is where it needs to be. So no one operates under the assumption that if I do speak up about something that it's bullshit, because especially if I provide receipts for it. So it's just one of those things. And oh, speak of the devil. YDK, I'm sorry for snapping out on you. I wasn't in a good headspace and I let myself get ahead of what was really important. Hope you aren't too beat up about it. Look, man, I'm not beat up about it, but you may have been, I mean, because you told me in the messages that you were angry, but that that doesn't excuse it. If I'm being honest. And I would have told you this at the time too. This is kind of the point that I was trying to make at the time when we were talking, because I understand that people get in that headspace where they get upset. I tried my best to bring it back down to earth, because obviously I didn't want to step on your toes if what you were saying was genuine. But the fact that you were going out of your way to make up a bunch of bullshit about you having a company that was fake and all that shit, when all you had to do was just reach out to me and we could talk it over. And you could have very easily just said, hey man, I want to sell these shirts. I know you've been talking about it for a little bit, but, you know, why don't you let me do it because XYZ? Maybe I can get better quality shirts. Maybe I can get them at a better value. Maybe I can sell them at a cheaper price. Whatever the reason may be, I would have respected that a lot more, and I would have respected you a lot more. I have no ill will against you as a person. I considered us friends for a long time, but I don't see any scenario where you can read those chats and come away looking like you were the good guy. It's not professional, and it's very disrespectful, and it's not a way that you treat a friend, and it's especially not a way that you treat someone that you've known for a while. But even that isn't really a good. Even that doesn't really make sense for me to say, because it doesn't matter if you knew me for 10 minutes or for a year. That doesn't excuse it, and I can't forgive you for it. I really can't, because again, you could have gone about it an entirely different way, and I shouldn't even have to articulate that. I'm still happy about the progress that you've made in preserving the Phantom name. Your channel is really good, and, you know, all that still remains to be the same. I respect what you're doing in terms of trying to keep the Phantom legacy alive. It's definitely a mission statement that I agree with. However, this is not the way to go about it. I do not understand the logic in going to someone that you've known and presumably respected, and I mean, I hope that's correct, that, you know, that preview to that statement, because otherwise that would imply that you don't respect people that you know. And at the end of the day, I gave you multiple opportunities in that chat to reel yourself back down, to cool down. I even gave you 30 minutes after the whole blow up and after everything you had said. I gave you 30 minutes and change to come back after you had presumably cooled off and to apologize and walk back some of the statements that you had made. And you didn't. So at the end of the day, I mean, I gave you multiple opportunities to redeem yourself, and you failed. I'm sorry. I really do wish you the. I still respect you as a person. I still respect you as a creator, and I still respect you as a former friend. But so please don't take what I'm saying as any amount of animosity on my part, because it's not. I don't have any animosity towards you. I don't have animosity towards your mission. Your mission is valuable, and I do appreciate it as someone who also really appreciates the Phantom name. YDK right, but I don't really like the video you posted about me because I haven't done the same and I don't see myself doing so. If you can see yourself in doing that, then that will be respectable. What do you mean? I didn't post any videos. Are you talking about the stream I did where I was showing the chat and everything? But I don't really like the video you posted about me since I haven't done the same and I don't see myself doing so. What do you mean by haven't done the same and haven't seen yourself doing so? What do you mean by that? Like, what are you referring to? If you can see yourself in doing that, then that will be respectable. In doing what? What do you mean by that? YDK, all I'm asking is if you could just take down the live stream video, re-upload. Sorry, you didn't specify. So, question, why do you want me to? Because what about that interaction? Did you feel that I misrepresented what you had said? Do you feel that what about that live stream? Is it just the fact that you don't want to be reminded of that? Because you can go back and look, I showed everything. From what I don't believe there was any message that I didn't quote verbatim. YDK, because I still feel as though we could be business partners in the future if you'd like to. I don't. I mean, I don't really. I don't know. If not, I respect your decision. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you understand from my perspective that if this is the first interaction that we've ever had in regards to business, and that's how you conducted yourself, regardless of what the excuse is, you may be angry. You may have been angry at the time, and that would explain how you were, but that doesn't excuse it, of course. You're still responsible for your own actions. And especially given the fact that again, it was a really strange interaction because I made every effort possible to look at it from a business perspective. I made every effort to inquire about what your company was so I could get more info and make sure that what I was doing was within bounds legally. YDK, we're both adults. I'm not going to say that I was right and yada yada. But I'd like to explain myself to you maybe on a private phone call or something. This wouldn't be right on my part, you know. I mean, I guess. I mean, yeah, I mean, in case it wasn't obvious, I don't have any interest in going in any business. I don't have interest in any business ventures with someone who conducts himself that way after multiple attempts to de-escalate the conversation. If you want to reach out to me, you're more than welcome to, and I'll happily talk privately. But I don't share public information about somebody unless it's very important. And you know, I don't really realistically, and I'm not a hypocrite about this. If I ever acted this way towards somebody else, I give everyone watching this, if I acted in a way that was unprofessional or immature, or if I was being rude towards somebody in an extended conversation, I would have no issues with someone posting that. I'd be ashamed that I was in that position, but I wouldn't, I wouldn't want someone to, I wouldn't go out of my way to ask someone to remove that, especially publicly. I just don't think that'd be right. Yeah, because I mean, you're right. We're both adults, but I don't know. It just, the whole situation rubbed me the wrong way, and of course you understand why, and you know that it wasn't necessary. Again, I'm perfectly open to talking about this privately, but I mean, after all, yeah. YDK, I just feel ashamed about it, and I feel as though you take pride in it. That's my honest take. What do you mean by pride? Because I'm kind of confused about that, about what you mean by me taking pride in it. Do you mean like me being honest about about it, or do you feel I'm bringing it up too often? Is that what you mean? Because I only brought it up because you came into the chat. I'm curious as to what you mean by having pride in it. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, do you mean pride in the sense of like referring to the actual shirts, or you mean in terms of the video? Or well, I guess not video, but well, I guess it's a VOD technically. Because it's not a video that I posted. I didn't post a video saying, look at this dipshit in this I didn't say that. It was just a stream where I was rambling about it, and then every stream that I do automatically gets posted as a VOD, just automatically. I don't post them separately. I don't know. Forgive me if I don't have all the answers because I'm genuinely trying to figure this out, because I've never been in this situation before where someone accuses me of stealing their intellectual property. It's a unique situation I've never been in, so I apologize if I don't have all the answers. And I also apologize on behalf of half my audience jumping down your throat. YDK. Well, you're right in the fact that I made our first discussion with each other sour, but I don't see the point in posting one's mess up publicly right off the bat. I understand where you're coming from, but the main reason why I did is not just because I was frustrated at the interaction, but it's also because there was multiple threats in there regarding legal action, and I did not want. I mean, in a situation where you were potentially serious, even though I already attempted to inquire about said legal recourse in the conversation, obviously that's not something that I brush off or take lightly. So I wanted to make sure that there was a paper trail, because the chats were there. I showed the chats. It was directly after the interaction, so there was no time. There was no, because if I waited, then you could be like, oh well, why did you wait? Why did you if this was a serious legal issue, which it wasn't, but if it was, I wanted to cover my ass, point blank, because here's the entire interaction, here's the whole history of, here's it showing where I explain the history of this T-shirt design, where I got it from. Here's the final screenshot that I sent you showing the relevancy of the trademarks and all that. What happened? Okay, everyone's asking what happened. So I guess in order to explain what happened, I have to bring it up. I apologize, YDK, but there's an interaction with me and YDK a number of weeks ago where I don't want to say we, because that's not. He had approached me, and again, I don't want to put words into his mouth. And basically the gist is he approached me with not much pretense, not any pretense. We had talked maybe 6 months prior on something separate. He messaged me on Facebook Messenger, claiming to be in the process, or be threatening to be in the process of filing a lawsuit against myself for allegedly allegedly infringing upon his allegedly owned trademark. So he was claiming that he owned the Phantom name and the rights to the Phantom logo, and that he owned the legal U.S. trademark for the logo and for the Phantom name and the Phantom trademarks as a whole. And yeah, YDK, I snapped out on him because I'm a douche. Wait, how many digits is that? Yeah, it's douche. That's what happened. Yeah, I mean, his words, not mine. But he started, and again, I'm doing my best to remember this correctly, YDK. I don't want to misrepresent this, but I'm also not going to sugarcoat it either. He was jumping down my throat, saying that he was going to sue me, saying that he was going to destroy me for allegedly stealing this logo design, because as you guys know, I made a single Phantom shirt many, many months ago. I made it about 6, 7, 8 months ago was when I made the first shirt. I had one of my coworkers at the clothing shop that's attached to the shop that I work at design the old school logo for the Phantom Domestic and the early Phantom Thunders, that purple one, reconstructed it out of a vector, and basically, and I had not yet started selling any of these shirts. In fact, I've been putting it off for way long, even though I've had many people asking me for them, because I've had just other shit getting in the way, and it hasn't been a priority. He approached me, YDK approached me, also known, he approached me and claimed all this, that there was a lot of, oh, Matt Broom, isn't already copyrighted the name Phantom. So it's not copyrighted, it's trademarked. But the trademark, and this was the final piece of YDK and I's interaction, because he claimed he owed the trademark and everything. I asked, he said, my company owns it. I asked what company. He said it's an LLC. I said, what's the name of the LLC? Because he was telling me, he was saying my company owns this. So I'm asking him in the messages, what's his company, so that way I can double check and verify the patents, or not the patents, the trademarks, excuse me. I keep saying patents when I mean to say trademarks. I apologize, I do that a lot. And he didn't provide the information. Instead, he got angry, told me that he was angry, accused me of acting like a child, and accused me of intentionally making him angry. That part, I might have paraphrased that a little bit, and basically got really upset about the whole interaction, and then started pivoting and saying that I was copying videos that he was doing, and just kind of was throwing a lot of things at the wall. And I explained the whole situation about how I had vectored it, or how, not I vectored it, but my coworker had vectored it out of the logo, that nobody owned the Phantom rights, the rights to the Phantom name. The company was bankrupt in 2001. Shark's patents, or again, not patents, trademarks, have been dormant for well over a decade. And he just, again, let me pull up the chat, because I don't want to keep paraphrasing. I want to keep saying incorrect information. I'm not going to repeat anything, but yeah, the last thing he said was accusing me of playing games, and I said I'm trying to be respectful, and I said this in the original video, in the original stream. I said the one thing where I kind of messed up is I said you have no reason to be angry. I still stand by that. That's still true technically, but in the moment it might have been a little bit disrespectful to say that in the moment, because when you read that with a certain tone, it may come across as me invalidating his feelings, and that wasn't my intention. And I did apologize for that in the main video, and I'm apologizing for it again now. But that's the only thing I can realistically apologize for, and that's honestly semantics out of this whole interaction. And I said, I'm trying to be respectful and understand your frustration so I can address your concerns. I'm being met with unnecessary hostility, and I don't understand why. And I said, I won't sell the shirts if it upsets you that much. If you're already selling them, that's great. Saves me the trouble. Where can we buy a shirt? Because if you were telling the truth, then I was going to see, okay, where are you selling the shirts? I'll stop messing with mine, because I'm being brutally honest. When I eventually sell the damn shirts, assuming that it still happens, because now I've kind of gone back and forth about whether I'm going to or not at this point, because frankly this is just a mess and I don't want to deal with it. I said, where can I buy a shirt? And then 30 minutes later you didn't respond. So this whole interaction was, and of course Messenger doesn't put timestamps on every message, unfortunately, but I believe it was about 30 minutes in between. And I sent you a big long paragraph about how you were lying about everything, because you were. Like, we don't need to sugarcoat shit. You were lying about all this shit. I sent you the screenshots, and I actually missed one. There was a screenshot in there with the actual 90s Phantom logo, just like those other two Phantom logos, where it had shown that the trademarks are both dead and abandoned according to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, and that's been the case since 2009. So the last person to own those trademarks are Shark Ninja. They are the people who own the trademarks, period, the end, but they are parked and they are not using those trademarks unless I'm misinterpreting the language on the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office's website, because they say dead slash abandoned. Every logo says either dead slash abandoned or dead slash canceled. Maybe I'm misinterpreting that, but to me that says that those trademarks are not actually being currently utilized. Matt Broom, the trademarks to Phantom. Yes, the trademarks to Phantom. At least the Phantom that we know with those logos and related to the floor care industry. So, yeah. So, again, to reiterate, YDK, I respect you trying to get the Phantom name, but you don't own the Phantom name, and trying to throw your weight around when you don't own it is not... That's not a way. If you actually are trying to get it, because here's the thing. As much as I feel bad about that one little quip I said about you not needing to be angry, despite the fact that it's still true, I don't think that it's in the public interest for a potential future business partner that you would be going in with to not be aware of this. Does that suck to hear? Yeah, probably. But frankly, if someone's going to go into a business deal with you, they need to know that this is how you are. I'm not going to go out of my way to tell everyone if I find out that you're doing business with somebody, but I'm not going to hide it either for your own vanity. I'm just not going to do that. Again, I respect you as a person, and I'm really unfortunate that it happened in the way that it did, but I'm not going to apologize for anything in the broader conversation, because what I said was correct. And yeah, you want to... Every single possible thing. If this was a QuickTime event and you had the option to click A or B, you click the wrong answer every single time. It is what it is. So yeah, I mean, you can come back a month later and say, actually, hold on, when was this? May 6th. Okay, so you can come back 3.5 weeks later, maybe 3 weeks. I'm trying to be charitable here. And say that you apologize. That's great and all. I respect the apology, but I don't accept the apology. I hope you can understand. If you can't, then I apologize. But I'm sure you understand that if the shoe was on the other foot, and if I was the one talking to you this way, because for the record, again, you can go back and find videos where I'm wearing the shirt and talking about the shirt from what I understand before you started talking about it. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but let's say for the sake of my argument that that's the case. What if I had done the same thing? What if I had heard you talking about making shirts and I went to you with all of this, and I said all this stuff to you, and I said, I'm going to sue you, you're going to hear from my lawyer, how dare you rip off my videos? Because again, how did you say, and maybe this is just, I assume this is just the anger talking, when you were angry and upset, and you felt like I was ripping you off. Because you also accused me of copying your video style. I've been doing vacuum videos in that style that you're referring to since 2018. Your channel's been alive for a month and change. Maybe at this point 2 months. How does that make any sense? And again, I said this in the stream as well. If anybody owns the style of videos of panning up and down with no voice in the background and showing off different things of the machine like the bin and the plug and the brush roll, that's Fan of Vacuums too. That's neither of us. Neither of us can lay claim to that. Neither of us. So that was a really strange accusation as well that I still don't quite understand the logic of. Again, I assume you were just upset and you were taking it out on me, and you were just throwing things at the wall like, oh, you copied me. I don't know. Also Panasonic Vacs. Actually, that's probably true. That's probably the person that can lay claim to that style. Because I believe Panasonic Vac has been doing those videos longer than Fan of Vacuums 2 has. So this chain, so you're the fourth, you're at least the fourth person in the chain. At least. And that's assuming that I'm the third biggest, which I don't think I am. There's got to be someone else in there. So again, it was a really strange interaction. And I don't know. And again, I'm not trying to air out our dirty laundry, so to speak, on this stream. I'm only mentioning it because this is the first time that I've seen you anywhere. Because, of course, I blocked you on Facebook. Because, duh. And I don't know any other platform that you have me on. So, it is what it is. Okay, let me go back and address a bunch of the chats. A lot of the other ones, because I was kind of talking with YDK a little bit. YDK, I also need to make this point too, is that if you attempted to genuinely take this to a lawyer, not only would you get laughed out of the courtroom, but you would actually potentially face repercussions yourself. Because you cannot illegally claim ownership of a trademark that you don't own. And especially if you're trying to go on behalf of a trademark that you don't own, and you're trying to shut down other people, that's fraud. Plain and simple. Like, I don't know if you really understand the weight of what you were doing here, but again, I'm surprised you even asked if I'd be willing to go and do a business deal with you at this point. That question was for before May 11th. I mean, I don't blame you for still asking, but if I genuinely stole your ideas and stole your trademark, why the fuck would you want to go into business with me? If I'm that much of a piece of shit and I'm stealing your trademarks, I'm stealing your video ideas, I'm stealing everything. What are you doing, dude? Come on, man. But yeah, like I said, I'm still willing if you want to. I mean, I don't know if I should unblock you on this or what. I don't know. I don't know if you have me on anything else, but either way, if you do have me on some other platform, feel free to send me a message. I would say, should I smash my Shark Vertex? Euro Pro trademarked it years and years ago. Isn't already copyright? Oh, I already read that. Smash it. Who's smashing what? No, don't smash a Vertex. Car Brilliance. Rick Hoover, if I get a Phantom and made a video having the thumbnail with the Phantom logo, would I be sued? That'd be funny. You wouldn't successfully be sued. He might try. I'd love to see that case. Yeah. Panasonic uploaded central vacuum. Wait, when did Panasonic get a central vacuum? Ken, if you want, I'm not gonna do anything. I'll unblock you real quick if you want to. But if you do anything fucking stupid, I'm gonna block you again. You won't be able to block them again for 48 hours? Really? Why can't you... That's a weird restriction. Why can't you block them again for 48 hours? That's so weird. That's a strange restriction. Why is that the case? Do I have to do it on Facebook? Is that why? But of course I can't see the fucking profile because they're blocked. Ugh, pain in the ass. Facebook thinks it's rude. Well, Facebook can go fuck themselves. Whatever, I'll just go ahead and unblock. Alright, you're unblocked. Don't do anything stupid. Hank Z, do you remember me? I remember someone named Hank. I don't know if it was you or not. I'd love to see that case. YDK, the last shark I used, the motor got way too hot and blew up. Couldn't even rebuild it or anything. Just a waste. That sounds like shark to me. That sounds like shark to me. What shark was it? Oh, my Pepsi's warm now. Ugh. God, YDK, you're ruining everything. Now my fucking Pepsi's warm. Ugh. Don't yell at me. Ugh. Red, white, lift away. Okay. Dr. Ginst? What do you think of the NOS Dirt Searcher IBs? Yeah, got so sweet. Man, I'm the next Obama. What? Obama? I got a new accessory for my Dyson cordless so I don't have to manually hold the trigger on it. That Dream Tech that you can't see, I need to start using that thing again because that thing is so awesome. You just have a button that you can push and it automatically locks and unlocks the trigger. It's so good. I sent you a message. Don't do anything stupid. Ow! I just hit my fucking elbow right on the table or on the desk. Y'all remember him be like, oh, blame it on Obama, all those types of sayings? Yeah. Thanks, Obama. I'm not gonna be stupid. Promise. I have a question. Can you live stream on an iPad with a phone? On an iPad with a phone? What do you mean? You talking about like using the iPad as like a secondary display or something? I don't know. Ask Apple. I don't know nothing about iPhones. Got an iPhone 12 if anybody wants it. It's straight talk, so it's a piece of junk because I'm gonna lose money on it because they wouldn't unlock it even after I had it active for over 90 days, and they're supposed to unlock them if you have a Mac. Yeah, I don't use Apple trash, so I've still got an iPhone 15 that's like brick that like bricked it itself after a software update, and it's a piece of shit now, and I can't do anything with it, and Apple won't fix it. I guess I shouldn't say that. I haven't taken it to Apple yet, but I've tried to ask the Apple forums on Reddit, and they're just like, they just assume I'm stupid, which to be fair, if I have an iPhone, I can understand that assumption. But they're just like, you gotta hold the buttons. And I'm like, I said in my big wall of text on the post that I tried resetting it, but it crashes before it actually recognizes the force restart command. And they're like, and the guy's like, well, you know, it's supposed to crash anyways. That's what it's supposed to do. I'm like, you fucking asshole. That's not what I meant. Fucking dumbass. But yeah. I don't have a Mac. Yeah, I don't either. I haven't had a Mac anything in a long time. And technically, I've never owned a Mac. My ex has owned a bunch of Macs before. I have an M1. M1's pretty good. My last Mac was an Air. Nice. Only reason I use Apple is because I find it easier to use than Android. Fair enough. That's the thing, is I'm used to Android, so I try to get myself used to iOS, and it's just, for me, it's a lot slower and it's a lot clunkier, and nothing's in the right spot. So for me, I can't get used to iPhones. I've tried 100 times. I just can't. They're not for me. But nothing wrong with that. If you like them, use them. But I can't get used to iPhones. I've tried to daily drive iPhones so many times. You can see the IR camera. I've tried to daily drive iPhones so many times. I just can't get used to iOS. For me, it slows me down. It's missing a lot of the features that I use all the time on Android phones, and that I don't even really think about. I just use it, and I just don't think about it. It's just like a subconscious thing. And I go to find that setting on an iPhone, and it's just not there, or it's buried underneath 10 different menus. And I wish I could think of a good example, but like, maybe like camera modes, maybe that's a good example. Because I can't well, then again, I guess it's not the best example, because a lot of Galaxy's cameras are now similar, where the video and photo are in all the different spots and everything, just like that is. Like, I can't double tap. I can't double tap the power button to get to the camera. So if I'm trying to take a photo really quick, like, I have to like double tap a screen and then hold the camera icon. Or I guess it's push it, but yeah, still, it's a two-step process. Of course, I'm trying to look at the screen. I feel like I never do that right too. I feel like I don't know how to press it right. Although the flashlight, that's kind of neat, having the flashlight right there. But I can do the same thing on my Android phone, on my Galaxy, although I haven't configured it yet, because you can change the two buttons that are down here. You can even get good lock and add a bunch of them down here. But and One UI actually like, I made sure not to update this, because the new One UI 7 is trash. Because on the new One UI 7, this is thankfully One UI 6, because the way it's supposed to be on an Android phone is you swipe down and there's your quick settings. And that's the way it's supposed to be. On an iPhone and on the newest version of One UI, you swipe down from here to get your, well, then it switches, and then over here is your notifications. Like, that's really annoying. And the newest Samsung update is just like that as well, and it's really annoying. And I hate it. That's why I haven't updated yet. And I won't until there's like a way to bypass that, or switch it back to the way it was. And like, there's no T9 dialing. The whole there's so many little. I wish I could think of more. I need to make a video of this on the IntelliTech mobile channel about why I don't daily drive iPhones. Because, yeah, I mean, although, one thing I love about iPhones, MagSafe. MagSafe on the 12s and newer is fucking awesome. I love MagSafe. I need to get a MagSafe case for this, because that'd be super cool to have MagSafe. Because, I mean, wireless charging has been on Galaxy phones since the Note 5 and the S6, and you could even add it to phones as old as the S3. But MagSafe with the magnets in there, where you can just click it onto something without it being clipped in, so awesome. That's the one thing that I love about iPhones, and that I always love when I use an iPhone, just being able to have a car mount or a wireless charger and it just click right onto it. So awesome. Credit's due. I love that feature on iPhones, and that's like the number one thing that would get me to switch to an iPhone is MagSafe. But you can also get cases that have the magnets in it for any Android phone, so it doesn't really matter anyways. And there are some non-Samsung phones that have the magnets built in. Is it Qi 2 that's supposed to have the magnets? But I think on the newest Samsungs, they still haven't implemented it with the magnets. Maybe the S26 series next year will have the magnets. I don't know, built in. But you can get it with a case, so it's not a huge deal. But having it built in and being able to, even without a case, because I sometimes like to use my phone without a case, you just click it right on without having anything. Super cool. Super cool. Love that about iPhones. That's like the one thing I love the most about iPhones is MagSafe. Everything else I don't like as much. I don't like them being so square, and they're so uncomfortable. Because, like, yeah, the 11 series is reasonably comfortable, but of course, those don't have MagSafe. So, because realistically, if I had an iPhone, I'd probably have an 11 Pro Max with a MagSafe case. Or probably I'd have like probably like a 13 Pro Max, or probably a 12 Pro Max. Maybe not even a Max, maybe just a 12 Pro. Because I did have a 12 Pro at one point, but I sold it because I fucking hated it. I can't stand these. I do like the 15 though. The 15 is nice and rounded and it's a bit more comfortable, but it's also way more fragile because those screens break all the time. These old 12s, the backs break all the time, but the fronts on these are super sturdy. Alright. Do you know about the Dirt Devil Vibe? I've actually been wanting to try one for a while, only because it was on that one dude's channel like 15 years ago. You can also change the lock screen button if you have the latest firmware update. Yeah. What was your first guitar? My first guitar was a red First Act guitar. You change it back to the old UI in the settings even if you have the newest UI. Oh, that's cool. Would you ever try a reaction? I've been wanting a reaction for a while. There's a few Dirt Devils. So I was talking to someone earlier, and I said that the only Dirt Devil I could think of at the time that I still want is the Featherlight bagless, like the older Featherlight bagless, the one that's the Vision Light rebranded, the one you can stick a HEPA filter in. And are you gonna upload more vacuum videos? Of course I am. And I actually forgot about the reaction. I do want a reaction as well. Because I'm trying to think, what other Dirt Devils do I want? I have pretty much every Dirt Devil I want at this point, realistically. Did you know about the Dirt Devil Vibe? I just said that I did. Only thing about Dirty Devils is I hear they burn through belts really bad. Depends on the model. If it's a model without a height adjustment like the Breeze, they do. But if it's not, then they. If it does have a height adjustment, then they don't. It's only for the automatic height adjustments that do that, yeah. Well, it's not automatic height adjustment, it's just no height adjustment. The only vacuum that has an automatic height adjustment is the Cibo X series. There's no such thing as an automatic height adjustment for the vast majority of vacuums. They just don't have a height adjustment. A Vision. I have a Vision. I have two Visions. Do I have two Visions? I have at least one. Rick Hoover, like the Scorpion / Breeze, some Featherlight bagless models, and Featherlight bagged. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Those are the ones that are like to eat through belts and then don't play nice on certain carpets. My Dirt Devil Breeze, even though I've had that machine for a long time, you notice you've never seen me use it since I moved into this house. It's the only machine that doesn't work on this carpet. The only one that like straight up doesn't work. That's like a actual like upright with a brush roll, not like a Henry where it like just feels like shit and you can't push it right because it's like straight suction canister. It's not designed for this type of carpet. Favorite vacuum at the moment? Clear Track, probably. Yeah, definitely Clear Track. Clear Track, and then been using the Kenmore Power Path a lot, and the Dirtler I've been using a bit less now. I'm gonna list it for sale at some point, and once I list it on eBay, that's when I'll then post the review, so that way I can link to it. I have a Breeze and credit. It's incredibly hard to push. Yeah, I found an Amazon review on a vacuum. The title is I Wanted to Love It. Yeah, pretty much. What are your thoughts on the Hoover Elite Swivel XL Pet? Garbage. It's almost perfect, but then it has a major design flaw where it leans forward and burns carpet because the hydrosol wheels don't work on it. So you can't use the tools on it at all. And you also can't park it upright because it will burn carpets. You can only use it reclined on carpets. And if you only use it for that, it's a great vacuum. It's a really good vacuum. But if you care about the tools at all, it is useless. Favorite shark? ZU560. It's the first gen Navigator Liftaway 0M model. And then I feel like I would have liked the NV800, but I never got to try one. I've been meaning to like buy all the parts for one and build one because you can't buy them anymore, and that'd be a fun video to do. But every time I like am about to pull the trigger on that process, two out of the 10 parts that I need ends up selling because they're only individual ones on eBay. There are no, and it's not worth building one because they're so expensive. All the parts are. You know, you buy a clear head and a motor assembly, and you're already at more than $200, and at that point, it's just not worth doing. Because I'd be out like $300 for that thing, and it'd probably just die in 3 weeks. You know, to actually build one out of parts, like to buy each piece. Vancouver, any TTI stuff is shit, and they just go straight up. Also, they're just straight up evil. Yeah, yeah. Project 2025 supporting evil corporation. Yeah. I still don't understand how she fucking lost. Nobody fucking wanted Project 2025. It was like the number one Googled thing ever going into the election. And then so many people looked up Project 2025 and was like, all right, that's what the Republicans are doing. And then they asked Trump, they're like, do you support Project 2025? And he's like, no, I never did. He's like, obviously lying through his fucking teeth. And everyone's just like, all right, I'll vote for him. It's like, what are you fucking doing? Just soulless Chinese plastic molds, all they are. Yeah. What's the rarest machine that you have in your collection? Every time someone asks me that, I always remember this GE upright that I have that's missing a bag door. It's like a clean air upright from like the 70s or 80s. But I don't have a bag door for it. And it's a bypass, so I can't use it without a bag door. But that one's got to be up there. 70s? Is it really 70s? Wow. Yeah, that's got to be the rarest. Because, like, what else would I have to be rarer? The Wildcat's not rarer than that thing. The '07 Carpet's not rarer at this point, I don't think. But those are honorable mentions at least. What else? Those three are the ones that pop in my head as the rarest. Power glides aren't rare. GE stopped selling vacuums in the very late 70s. Yeah, that thing's been around for a while then. I really want to find a bag door for that thing. I love that machine so much, and I have bags for it. Please let me find a bag door somewhere. God, I want a bag door so badly for that thing. need to post that in like the vacuum groups or something. The NOS Fury you have is dope too. How did I forget about that thing? Did I seriously forget about that? I guess because I wasn't thinking like condition. I was just thinking just the vacuum in general, not like based on condition. Because yeah, Fury LEs in general are not rare, but yeah, I guess an NOS one would be rare. Obviously, like in that condition, it'd be rare. Same with the rare Velocity that I have, including the one that I just sold. Both of those I can't imagine aren't rare. How many of those are still floating around, new in box? Even though I did find a couple, like 3 of them in a row, which was super funny. Um, oh yeah, and I guess that Power Force I got NOS, that can't be rare at this point, right? I mean, I guess kind of, right? It's not rare, but I don't know if I call it rare. The NOS Liftoff. Is that rare though? Because the dude had a batch of like a dozen of those. At that point, is it not rare because the one dude had a bunch of them, and he's out of them now? Well, then again, I guess if he's out of them now, then I guess they're rare again. I don't fucking know. Ugh. My great grandma had a few really old Electroluxes. Not sure what happened to those. The vacuum self isn't rare, but it's rare to find one NOS. Yeah, exactly. I'd say that's the case for all my NOS machines, because none of those are rare machines. God, what I would give to find an NOS Power Glide, or even just a 3522 NOS. God, I'd be so happy. That's so funny. Is it's like, you know, it's like, oh, I want to find a Phantom Fury NOS and a 12 amp Power Force NOS, and both the ones I happen just happen to be the shittiest versions of those machines, and it's like, I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong, but like I just find it so funny how like in theory the less common, because they're the 3522 and the more basic bitch green Fury ran for way longer than the versions that I got of both of those, but I just happened to get the later ones that stripped out the features of the machines that I liked. But at the same time, they were both really good deals, and I can't complain about getting NOS machines that I've always wanted. So it's so funny to me now that I have both of them. It's so hilarious to me. It's insane. How my two holy grails, which was an NOS Fury and an NOS 12 amp Power Force, happened to be the rarest technically, but also the exact least favored versions of those machines. I find that incredibly funny. But again, I don't mean, when I say worst, I don't mean that in to say I'm complaining about having them, because I'm not. But it's like, how fucking hilarious is that? Because the Fury LE is a piece of shit. That wand system is trash. Like, it killed Phantom. It is garbage. And then, of course, the Power Force, it's great. It has a 12 amp motor, but there's no headlight. What's the point if there's no headlight? Try estate sales if you can. They could always have some gold in there. Absolutely. I always forget to go to some estate sales. The one I sold was a green and gray GE bagless. Yeah. Donovan, yo, what's up? Powerful bag. Back attack. I really wish the Bissell Big Green had a headlight and a back change indicator. Yeah. You'd think the back change indicator would make a lot of sense commercially. But from what I understand, I think Alex explained this to me. I believe the reason why a lot of companies stop doing back check indicators, not just because of the money, but that it's obviously another big factor, but because they don't work at high altitude. Which I've never grown up in a place with high altitude. I've always lived in Missouri and Illinois, and that's one thing that Alex and I were talking about whenever I was visiting him in Colorado. He says, "Yeah, back check indicators don't work at high altitude." Actually, no, that's a lie. I think we talked about that beforehand. That was not. We didn't talk about that last week. That was way earlier, actually. I'm misremembering that badly. But at one point we did talk about that. I think. I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering. I swore he mentioned it or we talked about it, something like that. I remember him saying under some context that backcheck indicators do not work at high altitude. And he mentioned something about them needing to be adjustable, but that no company ever lets them be adjustable. So then they're useless because by the time the thing could be blocked and the pressure just still isn't enough because the air pressure is so high when you're that high above sea level that they just don't work essentially. So then presumably people were paying attention to those too much in the West and then burning out their vacuums. So Donovan, I'll be honest, I don't mind the Fury LE1 at all. How can you not when it literally destroys the attachments every time you attach the attachments to it? Like it's just awful. Like that just had to be plastic and it would have been fine. Still thought the Big Green had those features. It'd literally be one of the best whistle models ever made. Oh no, I agree. I'm not arguing against that. I'm just saying that that's why they didn't do it. At least in the modern days. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from retrofitting those features to. Wait, no, they don't. The back door wouldn't fit. Would one from a 3525 fit? I have to test that later. That'd be kind of funny. I would love to find like a beat up 3525 to like part out and like mod a Sanitaire or a Big Green. Probably a Sanitaire because I like the color scheme more. And then I have the metal handle and all the metal reinforcements, but also have the headline, the bat check indicator. Oh, that'd be fucking sick. And the longer cord, that'd be sick. But then still the square base, which I prefer. God, that'd be sick. The back door would be a mismatch, but the headlight and 12-volt motor installation would be very easy. Oh, yeah, yeah. Donovan, I've used attachments on it, and it hasn't scratched them much, though. The normal Fury tool doesn't fit for some reason. The rest of the tools do, though. Which is weird, because the normal Fury floor tool and the LE is the exact same. The only difference is they got rid of the little suction dial, but that wouldn't affect its ability to fit anyways. Maybe if I use the LE, maybe I just put some tape around the edge of the attachments. That way it just scuffs the tape and not the tool, but I still feel like it would. The Dyson UP19 is the modern day equivalent to what the LE1 should have been. Oh yeah, I agree. I like modern Dysons. I really do. I like them more than the older ones in terms of actually using them because they clean better, they're easier to use. But you'd also have to put the 12-amp motor in it because the 10-amp motors don't have the wiring. The 10-amp, I thought the 10-amp motor still had the wiring for it. You'd have to put in the wiring. But like you can still connect it to the motor. Like it still has the lead for it, doesn't it? I thought it did. Unless I'm misremembering it. I haven't actually inspected one of those in a long time. Like one of the 10-amp motors in a long time. But you'd also yeah, it's way too loose on the LE for some reason. All other tools fit great though. Donovan, I'm parting up my second LE though since the base is bad. See, my LE's base is also bad, but my LE also has a bad motor and a bad handle, so it's just junk. Last time I checked, no. Vac Attack. I still do like my Dyson DC-14. I plan to get a DC-07 soon. I wish I had the full kit that's featured in the more video. Yeah. Donovan 10-amp motor can have the light wiring put into it. You just have to put the peg thing on it too, but it has a spot for it. Oh, okay. My Power Track has 3 spots, whereas my Power Force has 2. Okay. So you can kind of mod it and get it that way. Because the 10-amp motor is actually my favorite Bissell motor. I actually like it more than the 12-amp motor. No, actually, no. I think I like them both equally. No. I like the 10-amp more because it's quieter. Because a 10-amp with a headlight would be banging. Because there's no reason why that 2 amps can't run the headlight. I mean, what are those bulbs, like 0.002 of a watt, probably? Yeah. YDK, I'm trying to develop a permanent but invisible Fox, I assume fix, for all Fury bases. Those are the weak points to the units. Oh, definitely. If those bases were just reinforced a bit more, they'd be a lot more sturdy. Rick Hoover banging, yeah. Banging. I don't know, Kyle Kalinske started saying banging as like a term meaning like good or something, and I just in my, it's one of those words I just picked up on and started saying whenever I mean like something's good or something's awesome. And I just never really thought about it. So charging up my Note 20 Ultra. Maybe. There we go. Donovan, my Fury LE base is really bad on the bad one. It's really bad on the bad one. It has a huge crack going all the way down. It's nearly split in half. The base plate's cracked on one side too, but that's expected, yeah. The LE and SE base plates are dog shit. I don't know what. That's why another reason I prefer the standard Fury. Plus, I actually like the smaller headlight on it more. Nope. Sorry, I gotta go make a new video for my YouTube now. Have a good night, everyone. Good night, Chance. Have a good night.
We are cowards and thieves. We never turn to grieve. Damage done.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and head out for the night. How does Tepe do that? I don't know how he does that. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Oh, we ever do a collab stream again? Hopefully. I'll see you guys in the next video. What's the next video be? I know I keep asking, and then I forget, and then I don't do the videos. Oops. I don't know. I'm going to try to make it a goal of mine. I'm going to try to make it a goal of mine to do a vacuum saved at the end of this week. Pistol 3522 versus 6593. Okay. Okay, more progressive. Oh yeah, I literally went down in the basement to grab that machine to do that video, and then I was like, why did I come down here? And I forgot, and I went back upstairs. I do that a lot. All right, that's a good one. Let me pop out the chat so I have that in a separate window. Alright. Tonight will be the night that I fall for you over again. Alright, I'll see you all in the next video, and I hope you all have a good one. Peace.